Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to win and find government contracts before they are publicly released. And yes, that does mean before they're even listed on SAM.gov. But what is the point of finding them early? And once we find them early, what do we even do with them? That's what we're covering in today's video. So let's get started. So if you're waiting for an RFP to drop on SAM.gov, you're already too late. The highest value government contracts are decided 18 to 26 months before anything is even publicly released. But why early positioning matters? It's all about being proactive rather than reactive. Most contractors think government contracting is about responding to RFPs. It's not. Matter of fact, it's about positioning before the RFP exists. You want to influence the RFP rather than react to the RFP. And let's be real, by the time the RFP is released, the agency already know what's working, what's broken, what budget the contract is coming from, and roughly what solution they want. The RFP isn't discovery, it's validation. That RFP is not for competition. They already know who they're choosing to get that government awarded. So we're just going to use Tom as our example. Tom got a contract awarded from the Department of Defense. He used to be a reactive bidder, but then moved on to intelligence gathering, opportunity forecasting, all the way to proactive contract pitching. So before with reactive bidding, Tom was responding to RFPs and losing contracts to incumbents. After proactive strategy, he stopped asking what's open right now and started asking what's expiring next year. What does the government actually need? What does the government is actually going to spend money on next quarter? When I say 18 to 26 months early, I don't mean cold calling agencies with a sales pitch. I mean understanding which contracts are expiring, who the incumbent is, when the period of performance ends, and how that agency historically handles recompetes. So we identify expiring contract, we research the current incumbent, and we analyze the agency pattern. So let's take this to our Tom example. He identified the DoD support contract that it was expiring, so there was no RFP posted. He did the research, so there was a research phase where he discovered the incumbent, the contract vehicle, the award value, and 5-year recompete pattern. Strategic gap found, so there was an incumbent strong operationally but weak on reporting and automation, so he did his research with the incumbent. And the RFP release, he ended up getting that $4 million contract by establishing inversion, not starting one. Early positioning isn't about tracking the NAICS codes or setting keyword alerts, it's about contract intelligence. Here's the intel that actually matters. So you have the contract intel, which is the incumbent prime, ceiling value, period of performance and end date, contract vehicle, and the mod history. The agency behavior, which do they extend incumbents or recompete on time, full and open versus small business, so which set aside, same primes winning repeatedly, how many offers they're getting, etc., etc. Budget and timing, which fiscal year it renews in, the typical award month, and the budget office ownership. So which office owns that budget and who are the people in charge that you should be reaching out? You need to research the incumbent weaknesses and find them out. You need to research on the new mission priorities. They did this last 5 years, but what do they might need now? And then track the policies and the tech shifts. So 5 years ago, there was no AI, there was no automation. So probably right now they might need specific automation or specific tech. So they might need a complete different way of doing the work since a lot of the policies changed in the past couple of years. And now we get to the contracting officer or the people in charge of the award. What should you tell them? Because we said we don't want a sales pitch. That's your best source to get the best information and the best research for your next recompete. So they're not a sales call, remember, they're listening sessions. So you need to ask what's working well with the current contract, what's not working well with the current contract. If you could change one thing, what would it be? I love this question because it gives a lot. And they end up going on not just one thing, multiple things, but you're just asking for one specific flaw. Are you expecting continuity or a shift next cycle? What does success look like in the next iteration? And that question on its own will have them say if there will be a next iteration in the first place, but also you now have a definition of what does success look like. So when you're drafting your proposal, you know exactly how to write it. By the time the RFP was released, he wasn't introducing himself. They already know him. He already spoke to them and built a relationship with. He was continuing a conversation. Now here's the problem. Doing this manually does not scale. You can't realistically track thousands of expiring contracts, agency buying patterns, recompete timelines, and historical behavior across many departments. But this is where AI actually matters. And we're not using AI as a buzzword, but we're using it as a leverage to get this recompete and play it in our advantage. And for that, I'll be using the tool SamSearch, where I'll just head to the recompete search right here and search for a software contract. So let's take a look at this potential recompete contract. So it's URTVRSG software. Not really sure what that means. Potential recompete Air Force. So we can read the smart summary generated by AI to understand what this recompete is about or what that award was about, because URTVRSG doesn't really mean much to someone like me. Maybe it means something to someone. The last time it was awarded for $600,000, and we can see the information of the current award right here. So the solicitation date, it was in 2024. The date it was signed, 2024. Start date, the end date, and then the current completion. So this one expires in 2 years. But what's important to look at here is this award was published on July 22nd of 2024, and it was signed on August 8th, 2024. So there was literally 16 days between when it was published and when it was signed, and it's a almost $1 million contract. So there is no way this specific opportunity was not discussed beforehand before it was awarded. And if you can take a look at this number right here, the number of offers, only 2, which is really not competitive. That's how many people or how many businesses placed a bid on this opportunity. And we see the agency, the office, the award value, all the information we need. And we also have the opportunity scores right here. We'll take a look at them in a second. We have the incumbent contractor, so we know who got that contract awarded. We have their information, their location, UEI, their business size. My camera died and now I have to record before we catch the sunset. So we get the incumbent contractor information from here and do more research about them. We get the information of the past award. And if we click on the award notice, it'll take us to the actual award itself and see the specific award. But let's go back to the recompete and check the awarding office contacts. So these are the people in charge of the award office, and these are the contact information for them. On the other side, however, we have the contact information of the contracting officer that awarded the contract, and that's their information. If they have a phone number, that it would be available, and their email. And we also have the SAM.gov award, who it was prepared by and who it was approved by. So you get all the information of who in charge and who is currently holding the contract and all the contact information available, so you can ask them the questions we mentioned earlier in the video. And as I said, we have the scores at the bottom, and that's what the scores mean. So we have the overall score details, and this one is 75 out of 100, and it tells you how it's yielding a high confidence recompete opportunity. The green flags include small business set aside, which is favorable for small business bidders within an active DoD purchasing pattern. And then we get the recompete readiness analysis. So it's 50 out of 100, which is not so great. And this is why. The key drivers, point of purchase window is 9.2 months out, yields the full 20 points in the window metric. Competition history shows full and open competition, and after exclusion for sources, 12 out of 12. You get all the information right here on the analysis of the score. You get the key factors, such as the time window, award type, competition, offers, service type. And from here, 89 out of 100 based on 5 years. And that is the score for the Department of Defense buying pattern details, specifically IT and Telecom sub-agency. So you get all the information right here, the repeat buying pattern, the competition rate, vendor turnover, duration match. And at the bottom, you get specific insights related to your business profile, to your company, what you should be doing. So you get the competitive advantage, you get the risks that you have to be careful about, and lastly, the recommendations on what next steps you should be doing. Whether it's to confirm your small business eligibility, develop a targeted capture plan. We're ending the video with the winning formula. Position yourself early, 18 to 26 months before the RFP. Gather intel, contract, agency, budget, gaps. Build familiarity, listen before selling. Leverage AI to scale your intelligence. And this graph shows you that with early and AI intelligence, how much your odds will increase compared to early positioning or reactive RFP responses. If you're in this position, you should definitely aim to be in this or that position. And if you're in this position, you should aim to be in this position. Thank you for watching. And if you like the video, please hit the subscribe and like button. And to learn more about SamSearch, you can check out the link below.